UN releases 65 million US dollars to aid Ethiopia, most for Tigray. The United Nations announced Thursday it has released 65 million US dollars for humanitarian aid in Ethiopia, including 40 million US dollars for the Tigray region, where a military operation launched in November has escalated into a war in which widespread atrocities are reported and thousands have been killed. The UN Humanitarian Office said the remaining 25 million US dollars will fund aid operations in the rest of Ethiopia, including in response to drought in the Somali and Oromia regions. It said funds will be used to treat children with severe acute malnutrition, rehabilitate water systems, and supply water to drought-affected communities and to pre-position humanitarian supplies. Ethiopian lives and livelihoods are being destroyed by drought, and children are suffering from malnutrition, UN Humanitarian Chief Mark Lowcock said in a statement. And 6 months into the conflict in Tigray, civilians continue to bear the brunt. Women and girls are being targeted with horrific sexual violence, and millions are struggling to access essential services and food, especially in some rural areas that are completely cut off. We need to scale up the humanitarian response now, Lowcock said. The Humanitarian Office, known as OCHA, said the 40 million US dollars for Tigray will fund the emergency shelter, clean water, healthcare, prevention efforts, and response to sexual and gender-based violence, and emergency telecommunications to support the humanitarian response. OCHA said access to those in need in Tigray remains a challenge, and aid officials are trying to reach inaccessible areas in the southeast. Last week, OCHA said a UN humanitarian convoy managed to reach Samri town, where it delivered emergency food and nutrition supplies and organized a mobile health clinic in the Samri hospital. OCHA urged additional funding for humanitarian aid in Tigray and elsewhere in Ethiopia, as well as access to all those in need. There you have it, guys. That was the latest updates in Ethiopia. Hope this video was resourceful. If it was, then join the family by subscribing to the Business in Africa YouTube channel right now. Also, don't forget to drop us a comment and, of course, give us a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye. Fish products are one of Uganda's biggest exports. When greeting a visitor, the Baganda people of central Uganda will often ask, "Erade?" Literally, is the lake calm? It is an understandable choice of metaphor. The vast body of water that the Baganda know as Nalubale and English speakers call Lake Victoria can become treacherous in sudden storms. The processors in Uganda that export fish from the lake have also experienced turbulence ranging from market swings to climatic fluctuations and environmental pressure. At one time, there were over 20 fish factories operating in Uganda, mostly exporting Nile perch fillets, but that number had fallen to just 5 in 2017 after a dramatic decline in fish stocks. There has been a recovery since, spurred partly by the harsh enforcement of fishing regulations, and 12 processing companies are now in operation. But the industry continues to be buffeted by challenges, says Sujal Goswami, the general manager of Karmic Foods and chairman of the Uganda Fish Processors and Exporters Association. There has been a substantial decline in the resource that we need for the factories, he says. We are operating below 20% of our capacity. You see, this lake has not been properly taken care of for many years. Apart from the perennial problem of overfishing, the catch has also been affected by rising waters, which last year reached their highest level since records began more than a century ago. Usually, deep waters have disrupted fishing practices and may have also contributed to the mysterious die-off of Nile perch this year, an occasional phenomenon which Baganda fishermen call kaliro, believed to result from deoxygenation. Then there is COVID-19. The virus created logistical challenges and reduced demand in major export markets such as Spain and Italy, says Goswami. Overall, he says the situation for Uganda fish factories is the worst of all times. Exports by UFPEA members fell from $128 million in 2019 to $73 million in 2020, a 43% decline. And yet, fish exporters believe that with the right management, there is still plenty of potential in Uganda. Fish factories employ over 5,600 permanent workers. The entire fish value chain creates jobs for more than 1 million people, including fishermen, transporters, boat builders, and others. Fish products are Uganda's second largest export after coffee, discounting the re-export of smuggled Congolese gold. Local people have fished in Lake Victoria for centuries, but commercial fish factories only took off in 1991 when the government banned the export of unprocessed Nile perch. It also removed a state monopoly on fish processing and privatized the single government-run factory. Foreign firms, many of them Indian-owned, started to set up shops. The early years were not plain sailing. In the late 1990s, the EU thrice imposed bans on Ugandan's fish exports due to concerns about salmonella, cholera, and the use of poisons. This was a big lesson for us as a country to understand and appreciate the role of standards in meeting market access, says Paul Omani, Assistant Commissioner at the Directorate of Fisheries Resources in the Ministry of Agriculture. The fish factories and the government strengthened testing system with support from the EU. A Belgian company called Chemifer was invited to set up a standards laboratory in Kampala. Between 2000 and 2006, the value of fish exports rose sevenfold. But soaring sales created another problem: overfishing. The fish processors are not allowed to operate trawlers on the lake, so the entire catch comes from artisanal fishermen in small wooden boats. Fishermen generally sell to traders, who in turn sell to Nile perch to exporters, while also dealing in local and regional markets. By the mid-2000s, it was clear that this entire chain was stretched by dwindling stocks. Fishermen were catching immature fish using finely meshed nets. Goswami says that the processors introduced a self-policing mechanism in 2007 where factories refused to take fish below 20 inches in length. There you have it, guys. That was the latest news about fish farming in Uganda. Hope this added some value to the information that you're looking for. If it did, leave us a thumbs up and also make sure you share this video. Don't go anywhere without subscribing and also turn on notification so each time we upload a new video, you'll be the first to know. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.